Prophecies will become inactive. Supernaturally given languages will cease. Knowledge will become inactive. Now chapter 12 ends with strive after the greater gifts. The love chapter has nothing to do with sermons that people just want to speak on love. It has to do with the gifts of the Spirit. It's in the middle of the 3 chapters on the gifts of the Spirit. And this translation shows it very clearly. Strive after the greater gifts. Moreover, I am indeed showing you an excessively extreme pathway. Excessively extreme pathway. If I would speak with the supernaturally given languages of people and of messengers, angels, but not have love, I would be a bit of metal that makes a noise, or a clanging cymbal. So she sets it out very clearly. This is an excessively extreme pathway. It's a hard pathway. In fact, it's so extreme that it just says straight out, even though I have all those gifts and have not love, I'm nothing, basically. And she says, if I have the gift of prophecy and know all the mysteries and all the things that there are to know, and if I have all faith so that I can move mountains from one place to another, but don't have love, I'm nothing. If I hand out all my possessions and hand over my body so that I could boast about it, but don't have love, it wouldn't benefit me. Love has perseverance. Love is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not show off. Love is not arrogant. Love is not rude. Is not self-seeking. This is in the assembly. It is not hot-tempered. It does not calculate wrong things. It is not happy over dishonesty, but is happy only with the truth. It puts up with everything. It has endurance in all things. Those are the qualities of love, which are the extreme pathway in the use of the manifestation and gifts of the Holy Ghost. Love never falls down. Prophecies will become inactive. Supernaturally given languages will cease. Knowledge will become inactive. Where it says languages will cease, then a note is, it has been wrongly suggested that as this is middle, it means that supernaturally given languages will cease of their own accord. This is incorrect and is based on a misunderstanding of the middle voice. The 3 verbs in this sentence are middle passive and intransitive in sense. So, when all these hundreds of millions of Christians around the world, supposed Christians, say, oh, speaking in tongues ceased. We don't have it in the church anymore. The church stopped it. The church did stop it. It says it's incorrect according to the language of the Greek. So if anybody says that, we really need to know this bit about the tenses and the grammar and so forth. The Apostle Paul does not say anything to do with supernatural given languages ceasing. And it is not that prophecies will cease, they just become inactive. Knowledge will become inactive. Apparently some people have said it's to do with Jesus. And she says it's neuter, it has nothing to do with Jesus. I haven't heard that one. She said, we have knowledge in part, and we have prophesying when we prophesy in part, but when that which is complete comes, then that which is incomplete will become inactive. So it basically has nothing to do with the fact of it's going to happen in our time period on earth. Because I tell you why. We're told it has nothing to do with the time period on earth, which is what the majority of churches always say. They say there's a time when it ceases, and it ceased when we got the Bible. I've heard that one. It says here when it will cease. And I'll read it to you. When I was a baby, I spoke like a baby. I thought like a baby. I calculated like a baby. When I became a man, I did away with infantile things. Now we look through a mirror in a riddle, but then we will look face to face. In other words, we're babies. When it comes to the things of heaven, we're babies. When it comes to the things of the supernatural, we're babies. When it comes to the things of the gifts of the Spirit, we're babies. When it comes to the love we bear on earth, we're babies. When it comes to the knowledge we have, we're babies. Because now we look through a mirror in a riddle, but then we will look face to face. Dash. Now we have knowledge in part. Then we will have thorough knowledge just as we are thoroughly known. But in point of fact, all three of these will remain: faith, hope, and love, and the greater of these is love. Of course, the whole chapter is about love. But let us understand it has nothing to do with a cessation on earth of other tongues or of the gifts of the Spirit. It tells us we're only babies in all this, but the time's coming when we're face to face in heaven with the Lord and with the things of God and with the things of eternity. But in point of fact, the important thing to know is this: these things will remain, all three: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. Amazing, in heaven we have faith, in heaven we have hope, and we understand, of course, easily, in heaven, of course, we have love. We still have the faith. We won't have the gifts. That's why we don't need the gifts, because we have the faith. We don't need prophecy. We won't need prophecy or tongues or interpretation, because we have the hope in heaven. When we prophesy and have tongues and interpretation, it's generally faith-inspiring and hope-giving. But when we get to heaven, we will have faith, and so we don't need the tongues. We don't need the prophecy. We have the faith, we have the hope, and we have the love. But the greatest of these is love. Of course, the whole chapter is about love, but let us understand it has nothing to do with a cessation on earth of other tongues.